Disclaimer: I do not own the clips or music shown. They are used for review and entertainment purposes. Thank you. Greetings, Gap House and Gap House. It's me, Camden, on channel Camden. Been a minute since I uploaded. So, the Ultimates. Again. Well, back in like the late 90s, early 2000s, Marvel felt that they needed a Marvel universe that for younger readers can read and understand without having to be confused with continuity and stuff like that. Well, even though now we can just go on Wikipedia and look up everything. It first started with Ultimate Spider-Man by Bryan Bendis. It's a pretty good comic, you should read. And has some, in the Ultimate Spider-Man comics, has some inspirations like for Spectacular Spider-Man and the Raimi trilogy and Amazing Spider-Man and some aspects of Ultimate Spider-Man, the cartoon. There are other comics such as Ultimate X-Men and the Ultimate Fantastic Four, but what about the Avengers? So, there were the Avengers, kind of. They weren't called the Avengers, they were called the Ultimates. And it was being written by writer Mark Millar. And, he's kind of an edgelord, but I'm gonna get that in a bit. The Ultimates were a reimagining of the Avengers that took a more realistic take. I also talked about political issues and stuff like that. And by realistic, that meant Hulk being like a cannibal or something and wrecking half the city because Betty was dating Freddie Prinze Jr. I can't make this up. And Captain America being some sort of nationalistic weirdo for some reason. And he's kind of like John Walker, but a million times worse. You think this letter on my head stands for free? And Wanda and Pietro being an incestuous couple and other things. And also Ant-Man being a wife beater, but I'll get to that in a bit. And yeah, those comics sold really well, which gained Ultimates 2 and Ultimates 3 and other Ultimate comics, and it led to Ultimatum. Anyways, it also got an animated movie that was direct to DVD, and it was called Ultimate Avengers. So, Ultimate Avengers was, a direct-to-video animated movie, which is basically, the adaptation of, the Ultimates. And, yeah, that's what I'm about to get to today. Is it exactly like the comic book? Are the characters as weird and unlikable as the comic book? Well, we should get into it. So our film opens with a flashback back in the 40s with our Captain America, of course, fighting not Hydra, but Nazis. Actual Nazis. Yes, back to me, because I don't want to get, copy strike. But, Captain America faces not the Red Skull, but a guy named Kleiser, which turns out to be an alien, a shapeshifter, which is known as Chichari. Funny, I don't remember them shapeshifting in the MCU. And Captain America gets on a rocket, and then it explodes. Captain America falls into water, and then, he sleeps for about 70 years, and then years later, Nick Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D. find him and wake him up and stuff like that. You've seen the movies. And then we get to introduce to certain other characters, like Black Widow, which has a Russian accent. Yes, before they tried to make her sound like Scarlett Johansson, she sounds like the Black Widow, which has a Russian accent in the comics. Anyways, watch Black Widow in theaters coming in July and on Disney Plus, which you have to pay with Premier Access. You have to pay $30 whole. What? And Tony Stark, which voice actor, I love the voice of Tony Stark. And his hair seems a little different. And all the rest, Nick Fury tries to assemble the team and stuff like that. There's Bruce Banner, who looks a little weird. It's a dude you want to hang around? I don't know. That's someone I actually feel safe being around. Kind of. So gets introduced to Thor, voiced by Dave Bowe. And Dave Bowe also voiced Thor in... Also, some of the music scores in this movie sound a little familiar. I swear I've heard this in other stuff. Wait, so was Marvel Animation reusing some of their music in Superhero Squad, Iron Man Armored Adventures, and Avengers EMH? Because I could have sworn I heard these type of music cues in all three of those shows before. And Wolverine and the X-Men. Anyways, yeah. Also, Betty Brant. I'm not Betty Brant, Betty Ross. Why don't Marvel keep reusing names? You have Hank Pym and Hank McCoy, and there's also Ben Grimm and Uncle Ben. Don't forget Peter Parker and Peter Quill. Does Betty Ross look a little bit like Pam from The Office to you? Think about it. She looks a little bit like Pam. Look. I can't be the only one, right? And yeah, we also get introduced to Hank Pym and Janet. And Hank Pym, he's I hate him. I completely hate him. Though at least he doesn't beat his wife, like in the Ultimate comic. Dude's just Amber Heard if she was a man and a superhero. You shouldn't make me look small, Jan. You shouldn't make me look small. Anyways, yeah. There's, the Avengers. So you're thinking, what about Bruce Banner? You know, he's a likable guy, right? And he, later on, he turns into the Hulk, and then works with the Avengers, and then they all stand in a circle. Then Captain America gives this great plan to stop, the bad guys, and then, then it's an epic scene with epic theme song playing, and then they all become friends and laugh it off, and then there's a mid-credit scene where they hint a bad guy that shows up in the third movie.
You serious?
In order to distract you, the Avengers working together. Oh, never mind. We'll just go ahead and get to them fighting the Hulk. So basically, yeah, when the Hulk is one of the biggest ones in the poster, basically this is how it goes, because I don't want to be copy strike. Hulk smash! Until Pam Beasley calms him down. So yeah, the movie ends with the Avengers fighting the Hulk. I mean, in the Ultimates comics, they fought Hulk. So speaking of that, how is it as an Ultimates adaptation? Well, as an adaptation, it's a bit watered down, though I'm not complaining, because our main protagonist would have been completely unlikable. But, yeah, let's talk about the characters. So first, our Star-Spangled Man with a Plan, Captain America. Well, he is not as bad as the Ultimate Captain America in the comics. He's a lot watered down, though he still acts a bit like Ultimate Cap. But, if you're not gonna make him act like Ultimate Captain America, then make him act like normal Steve Rogers, the inspiring symbol that everyone looks up to. He's just, oh look, there's Captain America throwing his mighty shield. Watch your language, kids. Yeah, Captain America was an okay character for me in that movie. So, I kind of like Iron Man in this movie. He's not too different from our normal 616 Tony Stark, but he's not really that much like our Robert Downey Jr. Tony, because, you know, this was before it came out. But I kind of like him. He acts like Tony Stark. He's Tony. Typical Iron Man. Probably my favorite character in this one. So, the other Avengers. Thor, I kind of like Thor. And, you know, he was also voiced by Dave Boat. Gave me a little bit of nostalgia. Also, Black Widow, I was fine with. The Wasp, I was okay with also. And there is no Hawkeye. Hawkeye's not in this movie whatsoever. And the Hulk I already talked about decides to be a jerk and start beating up everyone. And then there's Hank Pym, which I like. I hate. Because in this movie, he is very, very, very whiny. Like, he just gets so angry at the littlest things, and just like that one person at parties, which everyone having a good time, so that one person starts saying something mean. Anyway, the next one, Ultimate Avengers 2, which was released in the same year for some reason, where it basically is a retelling of how the Avengers met the Black Panther. And here's the thing, Ultimates 2 wasn't even finished when this movie was being made. And secondly, who put sequels on the same year as the first movie came? Alright, let's put Empire Strikes Back on the same year as A New Hope. And let's put Judgment Day on the same day as Terminator. And let's put Paddington 2 in the same year as Paddington. And yeah. So, what do I think of it? Let's get right into it. So we enter Dr. Umar Johnson's imagination. Yeah, and Wakanda, if you're expecting a futuristic and visually stunning Wakanda like in the MCU, then you're wrong. Basically, in this movie, it's very different. As you see, normally Wakanda is like a special place. It has vibranium, one of the most unbreakable substances in the world. And here, they have spears. Just normal spears. There's nothing high-tech and futuristic about Wakanda here. Yeah, isn't it a bit stereotypical? Anyways, also, the Black Panther. The version of this Black Panther, T'Challa is just there. He's just there, like, there's T'Challa. His dad dies. He becomes the new Black Panther and the king. There you go. There's nothing there that just made me just cheer for T'Challa as the Black Panther, unlike in Captain America Civil War and in Black Panther did. It was just, oh, there he is. We have to tell the story. There's the Black Panther. We have him. His costume is the most generic thing I ever seen. Anyways, also, remember that bad guy Captain America fought in the beginning of the first movie? He comes back. And T'Challa. There gotta be some other villains that might show up, like Loki, Ultron, Thanos, Red Skull, Skrull, the Kree, Doctor Doom, the Mandarin, Aang, MODOK, Ike Perlmutter, Jeff Virag, Baron Zemo, Jeff Bezos, since he's the live-action Lex, the one Star Wars, Dreamstain, Dr. Ed, Patrick Bate, the nostalgic, or me. But no, they don't get those villains, just the same ones recycled from the first one. Before you say, Ultimates 2 wasn't done yet, they couldn't use any villains. Well, in this movie they already used Black Panther, which wasn't in the Ultimates universe yet. And yeah, also there's a scene where Captain America fights Hydra, though they easily could have been the villains of this movie. Also, Bruce Banner is imprisoned, and there's a dude interrogating him. And Bruce was trying not to get angry. At one point, I thought when he was about to get angry, he was gonna say,
Back to formula.
Oh, also Captain America intends to kill Kaiser. John Walker in it, I see. Steve Rogers in this movie looked more like Eddie Brock. So yeah, the Avengers get back together to stop T'Challa. And they meet Black Panther. Okay, also I'd like to note that this movie has a lot of flashbacks. I think we should call it Flashbacks, the movie, starring the Avengers. And, yeah. Nothing as much happens in this movie. It's just very straightforward. And also these movies are very short, so... Also, did I mention Ant-Man is still a terrible person?
Hero. Well, thanks, Hero. Because of you, she's in a coma. Look, I just wanted to... Get out of here before I throw you out.
Done defending you to everyone, and I'm done supporting you!
Supporting me? You have been holding me back.
Also, he's voiced by one of my favorite voice actors, Nolan North. Raphael, Nathan Drake, and Deadpool will be ashamed of that guy. Also, Iron Man puts on the War Machine armor. Can they at least call in Rhodey to say, like, Tony can be like, I know a guy, and he holds up a phone, and then Rhodey drops in with a dramatic entrance, and then there's, boom, War Machine, and then they help him in the fight. Also, the Avengers are very weak in this movie. They get beaten a lot. They got beaten like they're incompetent lackeys, lesser than the Earth's mightiest heroes and the flagship team of the Marvel Universe. Oh, they look fine at first. But, then Earth's mightiest heroes get beaten by a bunch of arrows and sticks. Now when Wakanda went from having one of the most unbreakable, machines in the world, vibranium, to having Ewok tactics that easily take out Earth's mightiest heroes. Also, yeah, there's a big third act battle. They fight Chitauri and stuff like that. Then the Hulk gets angry and starts smashing some Chitauri, and then he jumps away. Doesn't work with the Avengers or nothing. Like, that would have been a great character moment. I'm learning how to control the Hulk, like in Avengers 1, and using the Hulk for good. Nope. Oh, and then Ant-Man dies. I'm not kidding. Well, rest in peace, Bozo. Oh, and then Captain America and Black Widow fall in love while they're mourning his death. MJ done the same thing with Peter in Spider-Man 1. And yeah, there's the end. So I need to give my final thoughts on it. Well, neither of these are exactly terrible, but I would recommend them, but it's not like the greatest thing ever. The animation is not bad, but nothing exactly special. Most of the characters are fine, but Iron Man and Thor you'll really like. But yeah, the first one actually had some decent qualities to it. While it's a watered down of the comic, again, not complaining because it was too edgy. Ultimate Avengers 2 was and how they shown the history and the lore of the Black Panther, and having the Avengers being very incompetent. Would I recommend them? Of course, you can watch them. You have a fine time, but it's not like the greatest thing ever, I guess. I'm not sure what to give Ultimate Avengers 1 donuts for, but I know what to give Ultimate Avengers 2 donuts. I give Ultimate Avengers 2 5.6 donuts. To point out that the main thing of that movie was it was rushed because it came out on the same year. Oh, and also, did I mention these were my that segment that I do? I watched them on Netflix at my aunt's house. We're fine with them, but I wasn't grabbed onto it as much as EMH and the MCU, though. Hope you like, comment, not a mean comment, and subscribe. And remember, share, share, share.